All right, we have some breaking news. The GDP contracted for the first quarter, and Trump is now digging himself in a deeper hole trying to deflect blame. If there is one thing that I've learned about Trump watching him as a president throughout all of my formative years, or most of my formative years in high school and now college, unfortunately, it's that his crisis management skills are absolutely terrible due to his malignant narcissism and him being surrounded by complete sycophants. For example, during COVID, it was on full display. Every single day, this dude would go out and do a presser and just deny science, deny the fact that COVID was a problem. He kept saying it'll be gone in 2 weeks. And I got a flashback to that when that crash happened in Washington, D.C. during Trump's first week over the Potomac River. If you guys remember that, everyone should remember that. Trump came out the next day and blamed it on DEI and then doubled down on Truth Social after. That really reminded me of his terrible crisis management skills. This dude does not know how to just chill the hell out. He is a terrible, terrible leader, and he has no reality tests. A lot of times, malignant narcissists don't have reality tests or people to tell the truth and push back on them. I think we're seeing that with the tariffs and with the economy. It seems like he has kind of a bubble built up around him, and now Trump is trying to blame the first quarter GDP numbers on Biden. So we'll play this clip from his cabinet meeting in 1 second because it is a shit show. But just to reverse, we learned this morning that the economy shrank due to Trump's tariffs. Stocks slide after report shows economy shrank ahead of Trump tariffs. The U.S. economy contracted 0.3% in the first quarter of 2025. The first negative reading since 2022, according to an initial measurement released Wednesday by the Commerce Department. The decline in gross domestic product was fueled by a massive surge in imports, while other parts of the U.S. economy showed signs of slowing. Consumer spending climbed 1.8%, the weakest pace since mid-2023. The report also showed inflation remained firm. I was at a Trump rally yesterday talking to these supporters. They don't care. They don't know. It's insane to me how they remove all nuance from the economy when Biden is the president, and they accuse him of pulling the inflation lever. But then when Trump is the president, they're either not aware of what's going on in the economy, or they all of a sudden have a super nuanced view on how global supply chains are being affected. It's like, I told these Trump supporters that Donald Trump has ushered in an era of massive economic unpredictability. I mean, just wait until these videos come out. I'll post one today, likely one tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Make sure you drop a like. And stop saying that I'm sunburnt. I'm not sunburnt. This is called a tan. Everyone in the comments was like, put on some aloe. I don't need aloe. It's called a tan, guys. But to continue, it's insane to me how these Trump supporters are blissfully unaware of the state of the economy. They were telling me that inflation's down, that gas prices are down. They told me that they went to the store and prices were down like 30%. These people are gaslighting themselves to make themselves feel like Trump's economy is good, and it's really concerning. So then Trump tweets out this morning, "This is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. I didn't take over until January 20th. Tariffs will start kicking in, and companies are starting to move to the U.S. in record numbers." Not true. "Our country will boom, but we will have to get rid of the Biden overhang. This will take a while, has nothing to do with tariffs, only that he left us with bad numbers. But when the boom begins, it will be like no other. Be patient." I feel like this message just is incoherent and contradicts itself. I'm not surprised at incoherence coming from Trump, but he says that the tariffs will start kicking in, and he kind of admits that there's changes in the economy, and then he says this has nothing to do with tariffs. But everything he's saying is false. If I just look up the S&P 500, which is an index of the top 500 companies in the USA, think like Apple, think Amazon, think Google, think the top 500 companies, and I go to the 1-year chart, look at this. He took office on January 20th. Try to follow my cursor right here. January 20th. The stock market was at all-time highs. All-time highs. And of course, the stock market is one indicator within the economy, but right now, Trump was referring to the stock market. And then you can see a massive crash immediately due to Trump. Even Dave Portnoy called him out and said, "Dude, what's that old expression? Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining." Well, that applies here. The stock market is a direct reflection of Trump's 100 days in office. Doesn't mean it won't get better and that we don't need to be patient, but this is his market, not Biden's. Thank you. How could you deny that this is Trump's economy when on April 2nd, he announced Liberation Day tariffs, and over the next week, the stock market slid a historic amount directly off the back of Trump's announcement? Let's watch him doubling down on his delusion in office because he has terrible crisis management skills. Make sure you drop a like. Let's watch it.
The basis under which we won the election. core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers.
Oh, I'm glad that our president is an economic genius.
The basis under which we won the election. Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January, this is quarterly numbers, and we came in and
Even if we granted that, yeah, you did come in on January 20th. You were here for most of the quarter.
was very against everything that Biden was doing in terms of the economy, destroying our country in so many ways, not only at the border was more obvious.
Pivots to the border. Biden had the steadiest hand out of any president in a while.
But we took over his mess in so many different ways. Core GDP, removing distortions from imports, inventories, and government spending, was up plus 3% when you add it. We had numbers that despite what we were handed, we turned them around, and we were getting them really turned around. Gross domestic investment was a whopping 22%. Now, that is a number that people...
I love our genius president.
The workforce to build America, it's unbelievable. We've got so much, as I travel around, the attention on the Trump gold card. I mean, it makes me very popular. Last night, I was out to dinner, and someone came up and said, can I buy 10? And how do I buy 10? And I'm like, that's pretty good. It's $50 million for dinner.
This is Howard Nutlick literally bragging about corruption. Bragging about open corruption. Why does Trump look so miserable? Holy shit. He's bragging about open corruption. Meanwhile, Trump looks terrible.
To build America, it's unbelievable. We've got so much, as I travel around, the attention on the Trump gold card. I mean, it makes me very popular. Last night, I was...
Why is Trump sleeping? This reminds me of the Big Short meme where Steve Carell is like, I don't get it. Why are they confessing? And they say, they're not confessing, they're bragging. Literally, that's what's going on here. They've done this repeatedly. Watch this clip.
I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot, President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but they are getting absolutely hammered in China. And, they're sending boats, the biggest boats in the world, carrying cargo like nobody's ever seen before. These are
like nobody's ever seen before. He has it inversed. Supply chains and freights across the globe are about to be frozen in a COVID pandemic-like fashion due to Trump's tariffs and due to the confusion caused and due to Customs and Border Patrol being forced to turn down some shipments because businesses don't want to pay 145% extra. Wait, is it still 145% or isn't it like 200% now? But then there are actually some exemptions as well. That's my point. It's confusing and it's unpredictable for small business owners who have a certain amount of funds they can allocate towards imports or towards a certain supply every single month. And when Trump uproots that, yeah, you're not Mr. Business.
the biggest boats in the world, biggest cargo ships in the world.
Biggest boats in the world, that doesn't mean anything to people who are having their businesses uprooted.
And they're coming and they're turning around in the Pacific Ocean. They're doing a big U-turn and going back because they don't want the goods because 145% tariff. But at a certain point, I hope we're going to make a deal with China. We're talking to China, but they're...
Oh, so he's just describing the supply chain disruptions. He's literally just describing the fact that boats are turning around. That's not a good thing for either country, but I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that. Drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more breaking news content. I love all of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.